Өрелкенің өз издары өз жұмысын жалғастырады. Көрермен, ассалаумағалейкум. Эфирде арнайы хабар. Бүгінгі хабарымыздың тақырыбы Еуропалық одақ, Орталық Азия ынтымақтастығы. Студия қонағы Еуропалық одақтың Қазақстандағы елшісі Алишка Симкич ханым. Miss Alishka, welcome to Mangystau. Could you please tell us about main purpose of your visit and whom you have met during your stay?
Thank you. First of all, thank you for inviting me to your studio. I really like being here in Mangystau. It's my first time here. So I really wanted to meet with Akim because usually when I visit, when I travel to the different regions, I meet with the leadership, with the government, but also I try to meet with the students. I go to the university and I also try to meet with the media so that I can present a little bit better what the European Union does here in Kazakhstan and in Central Asia in general. When I started my mandate in September last year, I said I will visit every region in Kazakhstan, and now I came to Mangystau and I am here. I didn't only meet with people here, and it's part of my official visit, but I also visited some of wonderful regions that you have here, and so I was traveling a little bit around Mangystau this past weekend.
Which areas of cooperation between the European Union and the Mangystau region do you consider the most promising?
There are several areas. First of all, I'd like to maybe mention that just in the beginning of April, there was a big summit between European Union and Central Asia, where all 5 presidents of Central Asian countries, including President Tokayev, was there, as well as the presidents of the European Commission and European Council. This was in Samarkand. And they have discussed big areas of cooperation between the European Union and Central Asia. Here we're talking about trade. European Union is the biggest trade partner of Kazakhstan, and Mangystau region, as the one who has oil and gas capacity and as well as other like transport, is one of the ones that has the biggest trade part in our trade cooperation. The second one, I would say, is transport. You have heard about Trans-Caspian Transport Corridor, and of course it goes exactly via the Mangystau region. A very important Aktau port that I also saw yesterday, port of Aktau and port of Kuruk. They're both important for our transport. Environment. You are here in the Caspian Sea. We are all seeing that there are environmental consequences of lowering of the Caspian Sea levels. So environmental topics are something that is very important for us. Energy transition. And I would say last but definitely not least, people-to-people contact. We see Aktau and the Mangystau region as one where people are very interested in traveling around, in visiting Europe, in seeing this. So this is another thing, education and seeing how we can improve the travel between the two, between Kazakhstan and the European Union, Mangystau as well.
Thanks. Could you briefly explain the Global Gateway initiatives and the Trans-Caspian Transport Corridor and why they are important?
You are catching my, thank you for finding out about the Global Gateway. I would say in very short, Global Gateway is an offer of the European Union of partnership to Kazakhstan and Central Asia and other countries in the world. Kazakhstan is a middle-income country, does not need our development aid. What it needs is partnership. It needs cooperation in different areas, and Global Gateway is actually touching on these areas. We're talking about areas that I mentioned earlier, such as environmental climate change. We're talking about transport. We're talking about digitalization, which is a very important topic in these new times. So those are all the areas that Global Gateway covers. It will include a lot of money that are going to be offered by banks. So what Kazakhstan has to do is to offer good projects. We are looking at not only at Kazakhstan, of course Kazakhstan is important for me as being ambassador in Kazakhstan, but we are looking at Central Asia as a whole. We as the European Union, we are also a union of different states which have common interests, and as such we think all the regions should also work together. And that's why for us Central Asia as a whole is important. And it brings me to your second part of the question, the Trans-Caspian Transport Corridor. Of course, what we want, in a very basic thing, is to bring goods and people from China or from Asia to Europe, and from Europe to Asia. So this is the basic premises of the Trans-Caspian Transport Corridor. Some even talk about the reviving of the Silk Way, which went through this region. but we interpret it more than just transport. We think that if there is a transport developed, there is also other parts, people, society, sustainable environmental policies are being developed if there is some transport connectivity. And that is at the basis of our offer in the Global Gateway, and that's the basis of the usefulness of the Trans-Caspian Transport Corridor. And just one last thought. It has, of course, previously we had a good cooperation between Central Asia and Europe, but it has, with the geostrategic developments, with what is happening in Ukraine and so on, and with Russia not being our prime partner anymore, we are looking for good alternatives. And Central Asia, I think for both for Europe and for Central Asia, we found a good alternative here with Trans-Caspian Transport Corridor.
In the context of these initiatives, how do you view the role of the ports in the Mangystau region?
Well, as I mentioned, I didn't mention it in the first answer to the first question, but I visited both ports that you have, Aktau and Kurik, yesterday, and they are a crucial element on this path of Trans-Caspian Transport Corridor, because without ports on the Caspian Sea, we cannot deliver the goods across the sea. So we absolutely think that they need to be developed further. As I understand, they have plans to do it. I understand Kurik is more for the passenger traffic for now, but they want to expand. And the port of Aktau keeps expanding. We want to increase the traffic of goods going through and people going on the Caspian Sea. And that's where the ports are absolutely crucial. That's without the good ports, with good infrastructure that is able to manage big quantities of goods, we simply cannot imagine a Trans-Caspian Transport Corridor. That's why we will continue to, or our companies will continue to invest in the port infrastructure.
In your opinion, how can we strengthen cultural and educational ties between our countries?
I think that cultural and educational ties are already relatively strong, but what I think we need to do is we need to increase the connectivity. I use this European term, but what it means is we need to get to know each other, people. And there are several educational programs that Kazakhstan is offering for education in Europe. What I'm seeing now, having been here for 8 months, that Kazakhstan is not very well known in Europe. So it's sometimes mixed with other countries in the neighborhood, and it's not very well known. So I think what we need to make sure is that more Europeans come and visit Kazakhstan. I think, as I mentioned, you in Mangystau region, you have absolutely wonderful opportunities of the beautiful landscape, beautiful cultural opportunities. Your history is amazing. So I think we should make it more known in Europe. At the same time, I think that there are quite a number of Kazakhs traveling to Europe, studying in Europe or working in Europe, and they are bringing cultural exchanges as well. We should continue that.
Thanks. Mangystau is known for its unique landscapes and cultural heritage. What is your view on the potential for tourism cooperation between our countries?
I think, first of all, that partnership means that we need to bring tourists here. And as you rightly say, there are beautiful landscapes. If you look at Bozhira, if you look at, the valley of the castles and all other areas that I have myself seen, this is something that you don't always see even in Europe. Cultural, you mentioned yourself, is also very strong. You have here everything from Aktau as a vivid Riviera, and then beautiful wild nature, animals, all this potential for tourism. So I think I was working with I was going with one tourist agency. So if there is any experience that is needed exchange, I think that should be done. But I think that you really need to advertise, or Mangystau region has to really advertise the beauties that you have. They are not. It's my first time that I've seen something like that, and I was quite impressed. And I will pass this message on.
Thanks. What successful projects of the European Union are currently being implemented in the Mangystau region?
Well, if we want to talk concrete projects, as I said, we work on these big topics such as transport and environment. On a very concrete side, we are trying to help the development of the capacity building of the civil society actors, because we think that the civil society, there is one important role for the government, but the civil society, including the media, for example, free media, has a very important role to play in development of any part of the world or any region. So that's one project. The second that is now also, we have started and it's now continuing very well on its own, is on environment. It's on the solid household waste, to deal with the household waste, and it's something that I'm going to visit today as well. And the third project that we are doing is also to help with some kind of tailoring and activities that are helping the human capital to be developed here in the region. But those are three small projects. The potential for more is there, and we will continue working on that.
What impressions have you had from Mangystau, and what new joint initiatives could be implemented in the future?
Well, my first impression is that Mangystau is very interested in working with the European Union. As said, it's a very European-minded, both government and the people. So I think that when I say European-minded, of course, taking into account it's Kazakhs, but thinking about what they can work with the European Union. Mangystau region is on the Caspian. It's on the border, if you wish, with not direct border, but very close to Europe, so we can work on many things. And my first mind is very much that climate change is affecting very much the region and the sea and everything that it will come with. So I think we should work on these topics further.
Ms. Alishka, thank you for agreeing to this interview and for your insightful answers. We wish you success in your future. Goodbye.
Thank you very much, and congratulations on your anniversary of the TV, and thank you for inviting me here.
Thank you. Құрметті телекөрермендер, осымен хабарымызды аяқтаймыз. Эфирде келесі жүздескенше аман сау болыңыздар.